A Spokane man in jail tonight accused of setting another man on fire with a makeshift flamethrower. Tonight, what police say happened.
There is no insurrection in Portland, no threat to national security.
That's Oregon's governor responding to President Trump's decision to call in National Guard troops to Portland, a decision now on hold following a judge's ruling. The latest on the situation tonight.
We have another cold morning in store, but some mild afternoons ahead. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 Night Report. I'm Mark Hanrahan. First up tonight, a local man is recovering from severe burns, and another man's in jail accused of setting him on fire with a makeshift flamethrower. That incident recently happened in downtown Spokane, and the suspect faced a judge this afternoon. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy live in the newsroom tonight with details on what happened. Connor?
Well, the suspect faces multiple charges for allegedly lighting a homeless man on fire with an improvised flamethrower. Court documents reveal the victim's burns reached roughly 2/3 of his body.
57-year-old Dupree Meadows faced a judge this afternoon charged with arson and assault in the first degree. Court documents state on September 17th at around 3 p.m., the victim, David Karn, was set on fire under the North Brown Street viaduct in downtown Spokane. Police say both men knew each other for 10 years prior. Witnesses told officers they saw a man matching Meadows' description, lighting Karn on fire and running away shortly after.
Due to this, he suffered burns over 67% of his body. He had to be medevaced to Harborview Hospital in Seattle, Washington to treat all of the injuries.
Court documents show detectives uncovering items including a lighter, a torch made of aluminum pipe, and a rag, and a plastic milk bottle with holes on the top containing a flammable liquid. Judge Eugene Cruz cited Meadows' criminal history, including an outstanding bench warrant held by Meadows for stealing a motor vehicle back in 2024 after failing to appear in court. Spokane police were able to arrest Meadows after they saw him walking downtown on Sunday afternoon. His arraignment's scheduled for October 9th. Judge Cruz later commented the actions towards Karn are especially worrisome as he has nowhere to live in Spokane.
The accusations listed certainly are highly concerning. They do touch on community safety, and they also involve a vulnerable individual who was unhoused.
Meadows' defense attorney declined to speak during his first appearance.
Now, there's no information from police yet on why the attack happened. We'll continue following the story as more information becomes available. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Connor, thank you very much. In other news tonight, a 29-year-old man faces felony charges after allegedly breaking into the state capitol, damaging statues inside and starting a fire. It happened late last night. The Washington State Patrol says the man broke in through a window and damaged historical artifacts in the Capitol Rotunda before setting flags and carpet on fire.
He set the rug in the state reception room on fire. That rug was placed there, and at the time, the largest of its kind in the world. In 1928, when the building was open. Its value is, it's priceless.
The suspect was arrested as he was trying to leave the building. He appeared in court today. We are not naming him right now or showing his face because he's not yet officially been charged. He was released from jail without bail. No word yet on motivation or how much it will cost to repair everything that was damaged.
We have an insurrection act for a reason. If I had to enact it, I'd do that. If people were being killed and courts were holding us up, or governors or mayors were holding us up, sure, I'd do that.
Today, President Trump said he is not ruling out using the Insurrection Act, which empowers the president to nationally deploy the U.S. military to suppress rebellion or domestic violence. Both Oregon and now Illinois are pushing back against the president's push to send National Guard troops into the states. A federal judge last night blocked the deployment of National Guard from any state to Portland. Kyle Laboshi from our sister station in Portland has the latest.
After a whirlwind weekend, including the arrival of out-of-town National Guard troops in Oregon and a judge's order blocking their deployment, the Trump administration is pushing back.
We are appealing that decision.
On Monday, a White House spokesperson blasted Judge Karen Immergit's decision to temporarily stop the use of federalized forces to protect the ICE office in Portland.
With all due respect to that judge, I think her opinion is untethered.
On Saturday, Judge Immergit, a 2019 Trump appointee, said the administration had overstepped its authority and couldn't deploy Oregon's National Guard to Portland. Hours later, the Defense Department attempted to circumvent the judge's ruling by sending roughly 200 members of the California National Guard to Camp Withicum in Happy Valley. The Trump administration also looked to deploy members of the Texas National Guard to Oregon.
There is no insurrection in Portland, no threat to national security. The only threat we face is to our democracy, and that threat is being led by President Trump.
The feds argue that the troops are needed to help protect the Federal Immigration Office in South Portland. For several months, a small group of demonstrators gathered in front of the ICE office, leading to occasional clashes with federal agents protecting the building.
You look at what's happened with Portland over the years, it's a burning hellhole, and then you have a judge that lost her way.
In an emergency hearing Sunday night, Judge Immerget issued a stern ruling, broadening her restraining order to cover members of the National Guard of any state or the District of Columbia in the state of Oregon.
You could tell that Judge Immerget's questions seemed to be, they were quite pointed about, do you think this is an appropriate way for you to respond to a ruling you disagree with?
Lewis and Clark law professor Tong Yin explains the case now goes to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which will decide whether to put a hold on the judge's order blocking the deployment of the National Guard in Portland.
That was Kyla Boshi reporting the appeals court could take up the case and make a decision at any moment. If the court upholds that restraining order, it is not clear how the Trump administration might respond. All right, let's switch gears and talk weather on this Monday night with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo standing by in the Outdoor Weather Center. Jeremy, our mornings and our evenings certainly starting to cool off.
It's quite chilly out here right now already, Mark. Temperatures falling and falling fast. Clear skies and a full moon overhead as we drop back into the 50s, but you don't have to go far to find 40s and even 30s up in Sandpoint. It is a cold one tonight, but a stagnant one. When you have calm, clear conditions, all of your heat escapes. But that same pattern means wildfire smoke isn't going far from the fires themselves. Overnight, we're going to fall back down into the 30s here in Spokane. I think 39 is pretty likely. I think other areas, maybe off to the north, you're going to get a lot closer to freezing once again. Maybe not the bitter cold you woke up to this morning. I don't want to use that term lightly. Some of you woke up to temps in the 20s. 70s by tomorrow afternoon and staying there Wednesday and Thursday. But when our afternoons get warmer, our nights do as well. So this is the last super cold morning of the week.
Sounds good. Jeremy will check back in with you later in the show. All right, don't go to bed just yet. The clock ticking for the city of Spokane to get their own emergency dispatch system. Why the county is demanding answers tonight. But first, dozens without a home in Pullman after an explosion rocks an apartment complex. The latest information coming up in 90 seconds.